Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. It's my privilege to welcome you to the Talent Alpha SME Summit. I'm excited for what's ahead of us, as today we'll be sharing with you not only some of the news on what's happening with us as a company and our platform, but more importantly, we'll hear from the users of our technology and the clients who have been with us on that exciting journey. There is quite a lot ahead of us in today's session, and hopefully you'll find it fruitful. As Tim mentioned, we are open to take any of your questions. We will be also asking you to give us some feedback and a survey as we come along. And there are a couple of points that we would like to cover. First, very briefly, retouching on where we are, kind of industry-wide, when it comes to the new reality that we are living in, and some of the data that we see that impact the tech sector where we all operate. And then we wanted to dive into hearing our customers, right, our clients and the users of our technology. So we'll look into some of the case studies with our guest speakers from the enterprise side of our business, as well as the SME side of our business. And I'll welcome here Sushobhan and Artur, who would be taking over that part. And then we'll dive into the demo of the technology. And we are very excited to share with you the second version of the platform that we've been developing over the past year. And again, we'll close with time to ask questions that might arise in the due course. So without further ado, let me dig in and open up with a bit of the background on what is happening. I think it goes without saying that the new reality has arrived. You know, what has happened over the past almost 12 months is something that very few were able to predict. But I think the good news for all of us is that it seems that the new reality that we are living in and will be living in is digital. The companies who are thriving in today's environment are companies that have been rooted or had their roots in the digital thinking. But more importantly, those who have not been there, they are trying to close the gap. And here are some of the stats that we put together that I think illustrate on how intensive the marketplace is getting and where the marketplace is heading. Starting with the big Fortune 500 CEOs, almost all of them admitting that the pandemic was the major trigger for their digital transformation, right? Digital transformation has been on the agenda of the corporate leaders for many years. You know, it's been discussed. There are certain initiatives that have been taken, but now it's no longer a choice, it's a necessity. Some go as far as saying that the acceleration, I mean, that we are observing nowadays is actually pushing some of these initiatives by as many as 10 years. And this is translating into an increased demand for digital talent. And there is one data point that really shocked us as we were doing some of that desk research coming from Microsoft. When in one of their latest studies, they are claiming that by 2025, 49 million new digital jobs would be created on the market, and 98 million out of that in software engineering, which basically tells us that the demand for the business that we are all in is going to be huge. And therefore, the war for the tech talent is going to intensify as well. And what is also interesting is that on the corporate side, leaders and people with whom we are working all directly, 81% of them claim that the pressure that they feel from the organization coming from all of those two factors mentioned ahead is actually unprecedented. They've never experienced so much focus and so much expectation coming out of the CIO's organization. So the new reality has arrived. The future is digital, but there are also some challenges ahead of us, because many of the enterprises, they in fact have less budgets to spend, right? So while there is demand to do more within the technology domain, the budgets that the company are able to allocate to that activity are much smaller, right? IT services industry was estimated to hit $1 trillion in 2020 by Gartner, in fact, and contracted by almost 5%, right? 5% of 1 trillion is actually quite significant amount of money. So that tells you by how much some of these budgets were cut, right? What's the good news is that Gartner predicts that already now in 2021, a lot of that would be recovered as companies are getting into the investment mode, looking on where they should spend money. However, at the same time, they are being extremely price cautious and making sure that they can optimize their spending and they can be more efficient with their investments. So what does this all mean for the SME IT services sectors? Well, first of all, it means new business opportunities. Many of you with whom we talk on a daily basis claim that you are as busy as you've ever been. The number of inquiries you're receiving from all kinds of clients is growing, which is, I guess, an excellent news. Well, what is driven by that, because there's increased demand, the large clients are opening more to new cooperation models. And as we dive into one of our guest speakers, part of the presentation, I'm sure we'll hear about it on how creative some of those enterprise clients are getting into making sure that they can get the necessary skills required to the job being done. While at the same time, the pricing pressure continues. It has always been there. It's still there, but it will continue to be there. What I think will be interesting is as the market is created with the increased demand and the limited supply, price will play an important element, right? So making sure you price your services accordingly at the right point, I think is going to be important to make sure that A, you remain competitive, B, that you also deliver the greatest value for your clients. Well, focus on the client or the client experience and the speed to which you can serve the need is extremely important. One of the key factors that we see going forward when it comes to competing and differentiate yourself on the market. As we've mentioned already, the war for talent is going to only get more intense, right? Many of us, including the big players, enterprise players, the SME market players, we all compete for the same talent that is out there. What has really changed is that now the boundaries of where the talent is being sourced from has changed, right? They literally disappeared, right? Whereas in the past, we all were looking for talent in a 30-kilometer radius from our office, right? So someone could commute. Right now, we are looking for the best talent globally, right? It doesn't really matter where the skills that we are trying to tap into are available. But at the same time, because the market is getting so intense and so much more complex, the cost of acquisition of clients is growing. We've been following some of the conversation of the industry, and we've seen that it's not so easy to actually get new good leads with clients that have not only the budgets to do the work, but also quite interesting work and interesting domains with interesting logos. At the same time, and again, this comes from our market research, we see that the toolkit when it comes to running your businesses is really quite limited. Many of the organizations, the software houses we speak to, in fact, don't have a lot of tools to run the business. Sometimes they run on the tools that they created on their own. So there is a certain opportunity gap that we're trying to tap in here as well. And then last but not least, as always in business, the role of relationships and networking is important, and it's ever growing in this virtual environment. As we cannot meet people in the physical reality, how we build relationships in this remote world is becoming increasingly important. So that's in a nutshell on what we believe this means for the IT sector. Now, before I move on, I wanted to ask you for a little survey, if I could ask the operator to bring up the survey. We have actually two questions for you. One is, how do you differentiate yourselves to attract clients? And we are giving you a couple of options. If you could please provide us the answer. We want to understand when you run for after the opportunities that are coming your way, what are the points on how you try to make sure you stand out from the other bidders in those opportunities? What we would also like to understand is what is your average cost per generating a lead like that? So we see some of the responses coming. We'll wait a minute to see all of them coming through. Okay, can we count on a few more responses before we get into commenting? There you go, thank you. Looks like we have some clear winners and differentiating factors, which is the know-how and experience, basically what skills your organization is bringing to the table, but also flexibility or agility of your team and I guess your solution approach to the client. Follow on with a couple equal items such as client portfolio, the services you provide, and availability of your team. With price point was actually the least important, which is interesting knowing that the enterprise side is being pushed or there is a certain pricing pressure on their side, right? The way I read that result on price point is that there is so much demand that you guys feel comfortable in actually naming some of the price. And then we have a pretty broad breakdown of the answers when it comes to generating a cost per lead, with a majority of them being in the range of $500 to $1,000. A few answers above $1,000. Some claim that more than 5,000. I guess it all comes down to a methodology of how we count it, and of course a number of answers with up to 500. There are 3 companies out there who claim that they have more business than they can handle, which I guess it's a great problem to have. And a few of you who don't know or are not sure how to calculate that response. Thank you very much for sharing that. We'll end up with that poll now. And moving on with our deck, I wanted to kind of take these results and put them in the context of what's new when it comes to Talent Alpha, because we really redesigned that platform, having now in mind both sectors that we are serving, both the SME and the enterprise sector, really looking to build a tool that can not only bring and connect the two sides of the equation as we did from the early days of Talent Alpha, but also to create a tool that can bring greater value to how the businesses are being run, starting with talent management. So we'll be giving a tool that hopefully will become a tool to help you in your day-to-day management and operations of your team. A tool that will allow you to understand your talent on a totally new level. And as you go through the exercise of mapping and understanding what we call the talent genome, you will at the same time collect data that hopefully will make your client experience much better, because we'll eliminate some of the daunting tasks such as creating CV or sending anonymous CVs to your client. As you will see throughout the demo, there are some features that allow you to really enhance the client experience as you build up the market on your own. We are also going to drive hopefully some internal efficiency, not only by eliminating some of those jobs that we've mentioned, but also enhancing, for example, your recruitment, where you can use our technology to profile candidates in a much better way. And at the same time, bring and connect you with the other side of our ecosystem, which are the big brands that are more and more eager to use our technology. So you can continue to see warm leads coming from us. And as we dive into a case study with Artur from Stermedia, you will see some of that coming. And last but not least, we are launching also an interesting feature that allow you to join forces to create syndicates and partnerships. So if you are going to compete for a particular opportunity together, this platform also allows you to do that, and more of these details to see as we get to the demo. So in the interest of time, I'd like to now welcome our speakers who will be then sharing their case studies with us. First, hearing it from the enterprise IT perspective, and our great partner on that journey with whom we've enjoyed a really fruitful relationship over the past 9 months or so, Infosys, and Sushobhan, who is the partner disruptor both at Infosys but also at the Novartis Business Services, and I'm sure he will tell us more on what that fancy name means. And also Artur, who represents Stermedia, who will be sharing with us what benefits they see from the solution that Talent Alpha is bringing to the market. Sush, welcome. Over to you.
I'm glad, Przemek. Very, very happy to be here. After about 20 years of working in big brands and big industries, I decided to become a really small SME by doing a startup. And I did about 3 startups, and So I understand a little bit of the pain that smaller companies face, because earlier when you're a big company, you don't quite see the pain or the need that smaller companies have, or companies that are growing that they have. After some time in a startup, one of my startups got acquired with the Financial Times. I returned to corporate about 2 years ago, shifted base from Singapore to Basel in Switzerland, joined Infosys, run digital design and strategy for them. And for the past year or so, I've been a part of this really cool innovation team at Novartis, which is one of the largest enterprises in Europe. It's about $70 billion. And they have an edge innovation company ecosystem called NBSX. So I represent Infosys's interests on that. And it's quite a cool thing. It's all over media, so you can take a look at it. The point that I want to make a couple of points here, and the points I wanted to make here are really about the opportunities that we see. Yes, we are talking about digital transformation, but what has been in existence for the last 20, 25, maybe 30 years is a bottom line, cost-driven standardization and efficiency of what is known as global business services. So whether it's Procter & Gamble, whether it's Unilever, whether it's Novartis, whether it's Colgate-Palmolive, whoever they are, they decided to consolidate their central functions and centralize them in certain locations. So that was always a cost-driven, efficiency-driven idea. What digital transformation brings in is a notion not just of saving costs, but actually increasing top lines. So you have a digital transformation effort, which is top-down, customer-oriented, outside in, whereas most of the pressures that you have as a global services organization is from inside out. And at the center of it, where these 2 points meet, is where opportunity lies for IT services companies. Very large IT service companies, like the largest is Accenture, which is $60 billion, down to a much smaller, ambitious organizations, many of whom are represented here on this call. Can you move a slide, Przemek? We know this. We are bombarded with these headlines everywhere. At one point in time, you have tighter constraints. Przemek showed that overall, the companies have contracted by 5%, over almost $1 trillion of spend across the ecosystem. The economy has contracted by 5%. While in 2021, an increase of 4% sounds very nice, we are actually talking about a growth only of 1.6%, because we have shrunk and we are growing. So really, we're just talking about a 1% growth. So you have tighter constraints. Every client of ours is squeezing costs. And when they squeeze costs, they come to the supply chain. And guess what? We are part of the supply chain. All of us, we are part of the supply chain. On the other hand, you've got massive change. All of us sitting together. Przemek spoke of networking, and I'm like, okay, networking today means signing up for another Zoom link, not taking a flight and going and meeting all the friends assembled here, talking business, talking about our own interests, challenges, collaborating. Today, everything is a Zoom link. The 4 things that we see are, as a result of those, there are economic headwinds, which means you have to do more with less. We can't travel, so how do we make a phone call better? How do we make the WhatsApp chat come alive? Whatever it may be. Hybrid work. 100% of employees across Switzerland who don't need to go to a place are now at home by law. I'm sure it's the same all across Europe, all across, mostly across the world. But the opportunity that we have with hybrid work, working from home, taking a call while walking a dog, those are the fun parts of it, is this notion of the death of distance. It doesn't really matter. It's no longer 30 kilometers, 100 kilometers. Your work doesn't stop at the borders. Your border is everywhere. Your talent is sitting everywhere. We have a fun instance of a client who was in Bali almost a year ago, and this person couldn't get back to their home location because of the coronavirus. But guess what? Has their company stopped them from working? No. Have they stopped working? No. They are living in Bali, paying taxes, God knows where, and distance has died. Distance has died, really. Work continues, innovation continues, so on and so forth. So what you have is this ability as nimble, ambitious growth companies, nimble businesses that serve the next generation of global business services, which is where most of the joys of our business lies. If you go to the next, And I found this, like everywhere else, it's on the internet, right? The three levels in which we serve our customers, three opportunities that we have to serve clients. So one is, of course, capacity augmentation. If a client is getting rid of 50% of their IT workforce, guess who they'll turn to supplement that capacity? They will not carry them on their books. They'll really shift the cost of development. They'll shift the cost of support to our books. That's what the classic capacity augmentation comes in, which is where larger companies play all across. Daimler, for example, is talking about a 2.5 billion euro shifting out of capacity down to their vendors. It's a large RFP that's going on. But increasingly, as smaller companies, increasingly as nimble companies, you play on capability. You play on rare to find cool technologies, things that people are yet talking about in larger companies, but there are 5, 6, 10, 15 people who are working on it. My favorite example is that of Unity. And there was a time when the largest number of Unity developers that my company, which is a very large company based in New York, was looking at, we had 40 Unity developers in the entire company. 10 of them were across the world and 30 of them were in Bucharest. So that happened about 8 years ago. That's a rare capability. So rare capability that you reach out to organizations who are hungry for them. But finally, what you have to compete for is in creativity. Look at this goldfish and the many ideas that are in that. That goldfish is jumping from a smaller bowl to a larger bowl. That's called capacity augmentation. What it's doing is it cannot really jump and pole vault, but has a tiny ability to jump from one to the other. It's using that capability to leverage itself. And it's a creative thought process. It could just swim around faster in the same small pool and do nothing but increase and go there. Now, I've been talking a lot. At the end of it, what it means, in order to leverage this economy, in order to use things creatively, the three things that you have. Number one, we have seen that boundaries do not exist anymore. But if boundaries do not exist, a currency is still needed. You can take $100 and pretty much find food and shelter on any planet, on any corner of this planet if you have a US dollar. Even if you're not in the US, you can play with that. And that's the power of a common currency, a value that everybody understands. In our work with Talent Alpha and using some of the Talent Alpha platforms, what we found was a very powerful way in which you could harmonize what people in different parts of the world could actually mean. You can actually rank people, a developer sitting in Ecuador and a developer sitting in Bucharest, and pretty much compare them. And clients need that. Clients need the confidence that the quality of the talent that we deliver, irrespective of what you have, are based on skills that they have. And that's something that I really liked when we used the Talent Alpha platform. The second thing is about growth, because nobody stands still. The second thing is when you use a talent genome, sort of an idea, which is a skill-based idea, that currency increases. It's like compound interest. So you have a dollar bill, $100 bill, and if that $100 bill is earning compound interest, then you are in a much, much better position. So instead of having a few of us in this group who say we have more business than we can handle, just imagine if almost 80, 90, 100% of them have more business than you can handle. That's a good problem to have. Przemek, are there any specific areas that were on your mind that I may have skipped?
I wanted to ask you one question. If you kind of think forward, maybe not 10 years, because nowadays 10 years is probably too far-fetched, but 5 years from now, what role do you see for ecosystems such as the one that we are building on the Talent Alpha platform? Like, do you see that being a niche or a main kind of type of a solution when it comes to getting access to talent in the future?
I'll jump to a straight answer. I think it's going to be even more powerful to provide access to talent wherever we are. The reality of life is, in about 5 years' time, many, many more of us will not have full-time jobs. We will not have full-time jobs because the contract, the work contract itself is changing. Companies have used COVID. Countries are going to ask for more tax and so on. So we'll find a very fluid. I suspect it'll take between 5 to 10 years to solidify that. But what we'll have are many more people who are going to work shorter amounts of time. Now, when you work shorter amounts of time, this is where an ecosystem like Talent Alpha can actually help talent, can actually help companies to give clients, companies such as yours, to give companies, larger companies, the confidence that the talent pipeline will be continuous, because hey, you map it via skills and you can compare skills. You may not be able to compare people, but you can compare skills. And if you give somebody, if I had to take this this slide and say that improve this slide, and it goes to somebody today, and tomorrow it goes to another person, they should be able to work with it, because what you have is you have atomized things. And that's something that I really like about where this ecosystem is going. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Sush. Again, just a kind reminder, if you have any questions for any of the panelists, please share them in the Q&A box. We'll be happy to take them. So thank you, Sush, very much. We'll get back with questions at the end of the session. But moving on with the agenda, over to Artur from Stermedia to share with us their experience and point of view on the Talent Alpha platform. Artur, over to you. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm Artur from Stermedia. We are located in Wrocław, Poland. Can you hear me well here from Wrocław, guys?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. I'm Digital Transformation Director, also responsible for sales in the company. Glad to meet you on the summit tonight as a Talent Alpha Partners Network member for 9 months now. And thank you, Sush, for sharing a big player experience. And I try to share a smaller software company perspective, like many of you, I suppose, here on this summit. We started as a typical software company 11 years ago and have been delivering custom software solutions, like everyone, I would say. But 7 years ago, the company started building data experience competence. So I think AI and machine learning is Stermedia USP today. But most of our revenue stream still comes from software development due to length of projects and so. But what happened last year during COVID pandemic? Przemek has already mentioned how it triggered a digital transformation due to these fast changes on the market. We, as a software company, we decided to invest in two more areas. On the right-hand side, you can see we call it intelligent automation. So that means robotic process automation, plus what is unique in our company, AI knowledge and machine learning experience. And additionally, we focused even more on cloud. This is why we decided to establish partnerships with some of RPA as well as cloud providers. On the other hand, we were growing our channel partner network, and this is why we decided to start cooperation with Talent Alpha. Yeah, before I tell you how it went, please move to the next slide, because what is really important when you cooperate with such partner as a Talent Alpha, what they have a lot of contacts with big companies, so they have established business relationships, and we as software providers, as a company tech oriented, our main asset is our competence and our team. So here you can see some of the awards and accolades from all around the world we gathered in a couple of years. But let's focus on for a while on the last one on the right hand side. Why? Because this AI challenge was brought to us by Talent Alpha. I cannot share the name of the company which we worked for, but it's one of top 5 global pharma companies around the world. And thanks to Talent Alpha, we had a unique opportunity to work directly with R&D and data science global team from this company. And this challenge, Talent Alpha invited 21 AI companies from their partner network, which is important, from around Europe. to take a part in this data science challenge. And the goal was to deliver an MVP of a machine learning solution to predict sales for this big pharma player. And I'm lucky to say that our team has been announced a winner of this contest. Of course, it's nice, but for me as a sales guy, what was the most important thing, that thanks to Talent Alpha, we established a business relationship with this R&D global team from the pharma company. So we have them on the radar, and they already confirmed early this year that they have a budget to do more data science projects this year, and this is marvelous information. Regarding a cooperation with Talent Alpha, I saw them first on some time ago on the big event in Krakow, and I was really skeptical about starting cooperation with them. I thought, okay, it's another middleman company, probably to do a lot for us on the onboarding process into their platform, and no guarantee of profits. But I reminded about Talent Alpha at the beginning of pandemic, because that was the time when one of our important clients, a car manufacturer, froze 3 projects in one day. So I contact directly Przemek, and we started in discussing the cooperation. And so on next slide, you can see a sales funnel. Because money talks. So let's see how in last 9 months we dealt with inquiries, opportunities from Talent Alpha. So you can see that it's different for some of them. We had a match or not in terms of technology. So from these 20 opportunities, from these 20 inquiries, we took 6 opportunities and we won 3 deals, and all of them was taken together with Talent Alpha, with big companies, both on software development and AI side. And finally, I will also mention that we are really happy that Talent Alpha team wisely used the experience of our machine learning engineers by involving them to the development of the human cloud platform, which new version will be shown today. So yeah, it's a great growth opportunity for both partners. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Artur. I hope this is just the beginning of our common journey. And as Artur mentioned, we are eating our own dog food, as the saying goes, and we are trying to leverage the power of the network that we are building to further build the capabilities of the platform. I think now it's the right time to actually dive into the technology itself. So I wanted to pass it over to Szymon, who will take us through a demo of our next version of the technology. Szymon, over to you.
Hey guys, my pleasure to demo to you our new platform that is connecting all of the apps that Talent Alpha was providing in the past into one platform. It's a fundamental change, not just from this angle, but also from the fact that our app is now live and can be pretty much accessible by any company in this world. That should mean also much more businesses being interested in the talent that we offer on the platform. So we start with the main screen. You can find it at app.talent-alpha.com, where you can either log in to your preset credentials or register your account, or use one of the authorized services to sign in. So I'm just going to use Google to quickly log into my platform. I'm using my pre-configured account for the ease of this demo. Just for you guys to know that in order to be able to use our talent management and marketplace management, you need to have your company account set up. So just make sure that it's ticked. The journey on the platform starts on this dashboard that shows 3 apps that are currently available. And we're going to jump right into the main one where the journey starts. So the talent management, this is the piece where we are uploading the entire team. And the entire team meaning not just the team that we want to present to other companies, so meaning sharing them on the marketplace, aka bench, but the entire team that we really want to manage. And this is where the difference of Talent Alpha comes in. We spend a lot of time to make sure that the talent management gives you not just gives you an edge, gives you a tool that can help you to manage your skills, your specialists better. So the very first step to add your talent is just clicking this yellow button where you can start adding information about the specialists. And what is important here, that even if you use the real name, the real email address, we're not sharing this information anywhere. So this is information that only stays within your account. That data is not being pushed anywhere else. So you can rest assured. I created a very sample profile like this that is, stripped of any data. So just imagine filling in this previous form. And this screen has two different elements. The first one is the element that shows the data that is stored in the database. Right now, there's not a lot because you just created this profile. The right-hand side shows us the completeness of the profile. And this is basically a guide through every single step of creating a meaningful profile that can be used for either managing the talent and then sharing that talent on the marketplace. And this is the combination on all of these elements. This is what we call talent genome. And this is where we believe algorithms that we are building can make a huge difference. Now, the value of this process comes from multiple angles. First of all, we're using a robust taxonomy. You've probably seen that taxonomy before, but we're covering 65 plus roles on the IT world, making sure that we get very deep and broad understanding of the skills. If it comes to the process itself, the process is, as people call it, bottoms up. It means that we are using the specialists' best knowledge about their skills to fill in those profiles. So when I created this profile and I would send a reminder, what would happen is that the specialist will receive an email to fill in his profile. Now, the email will look something like that, where the specialist is invited to the first step of building the profile. Then step by step, the levels are being unlocked. So from personal information, experience, and education, we go to the technical skills mapping. So in this example, we have general dev knowledge, but also data scientists skill form. And the last but not least, we're also capturing, or actually it's optional, but we're capturing data around psychometry. So that's big 5 personality tests and creative behavior. Please note that this data is right now being captured, however, not yet displayed in the current version, which is coming soon. So when you fill in on that data, pretty much this is the profile you're getting. Of course, the most important piece of that profile, the technical skills, are already listed here and can be browsed and further, of course, used in the search, in the filters here, but also mainly if you wish to share your talent with other companies in the talent marketplace manager app. So in order to start sharing your talent, you have to switch to the marketplace manager app. And that's a fundamental step between the previous app that you've been used to working with, because the talent you add here is not going to show up on the marketplace unless you specifically select it and configure it. So I quickly added my profile that you just saw before to our marketplace manager. I'm just going to show you the process really quick so you can see it yourself. So I click add the specialist, select the right person that I want to share on the marketplace. And now all I have to do is specify a couple of things. So I have to choose the right rate. I'm just going to go with 57. I I have to select the availability, which is super important because based on that availability, our algorithms are able to select the right talent when clients are searching for it on the marketplace. So always make sure this is up to date. I can make this talent available on Human Cloud, but also on something else that I'm going to cover in a second. And just going to quickly make it shared so it's going to be visible in the marketplace. Now, if I go to the talent marketplace, I can obviously search through the entire universe of Talent Alpha specialists that come from companies and providers from all over the world, right? I can use the open search. I can use the filters that give me the exact information, the exact selection that I need, right? But let's quickly look at the specialist that I just added. It's going to be much easier to look at the specialist from the syndicate that I have here. So that's my specialist that I created for the demo. As you can see, the profile is pretty robust. This is the hourly rate I added, so it's the exactly same hourly rate. And I can browse through this profile. I can look at the skill matrix sort of layer by layer. I can also go to the skill graph, and I understand the composition of the talent in the very visual form, which is pretty cool. And of course, I can deep dive into projects, education, languages of that person. But what's most important is that I can book that talent now. So if I'm in a need of getting that resource, getting that talent, I can request confirmation for that asset. So I just simply fill in the details and send it, and I will receive and the software house on the other side, the partner on the other side, will receive a request to confirm availability of that talent. Now I'm gonna ask Przemek to quickly do that for me. So book that specialist for me. So we can see how the interaction of that booking falls into the platform.
It's done.
You're too quick. I hope I just had a second to take some water. Okay, so yeah, I go to my specialists and the marketplace manager, and I can see that there's a booking request that I have just received. Now, I can have a look at the offer. I can see that, yeah, that's the specialist that needs to be booked. I can see the duration and all the other informations that are crucial for this project. And now I can confirm availability or simply decline it because of whatever the reason, right? But what would happen is that this person, this client interested in my talent, if I click yes, he will receive a confirmation of the availability, and he will receive contact details to reach out to me.
So that's where we are actually talking about hot and warm leads, right? Whereas in the past we were really concentrating on bringing you hot leads, like we were the Salesforce and the client-facing army that was trying to generate really hot opportunities and then selecting the right partner through our network. With this release, we are really kind of opening up the funnel where we want to also bring the enterprise of the equation to use the technology and contact with you directly, right? So you can expect that some of these opportunities would be coming your way through these mechanisms as well, which basically means that then you will have to continue working with these clients directly. That's a quite a fundamental shift in how we've been operating. Again, our goal here is to maximize the value and potential of the network and the ecosystem that we are building here.
Absolutely. Once the booking is completed and you have been able to reach an agreement with your client, don't forget to leave us some feedback so we know that the whole thing works. Now, as you can see that I've been sharing this candidate on not just the Talent Alpha Human Cloud, but I was also able to have the second option, which is Talent Alpha Demo Syndicate. That's one of the features of this platform that can really change the experience for a lot of us, especially in the small IT world. So this is called Private Human Cloud, and this is where we are able to enable you guys to build syndicates. So a private, let's say a private communities where the talent can be shared either across multiple of companies or certain organization, or I would say maybe a larger holdings, like for example, larger IT companies would have across the world. Now, I already implemented and imported my key, so that syndicate is already built, and I can use it. But should you have a request to use Private Human Cloud, you should contact our you should contact us either through this intercom or via the account manager.
Now, where this is useful, let me jump in quickly. This feature is really useful in a couple of use cases. One, where you have some friendly software houses with whom you've been bidding for work in the past, right? This technology really allows you to join forces, and then as you fight for some opportunities, essentially let your clients, log into Talent Alpha platform and see exactly the entire team that you will be bringing to this particular opportunity on our platform. But also, this is what you can use to enhance your own customer experience. Essentially, you can build a syndicate between you and your client, so the client gets the full visibility, for example, into the team that it's working on their particular account. Back to you, Szymon.
Yeah. So with the talent, with the human cloud, with the private human cloud, you can manage your specialists to be exposed exactly the same way you're exposing the specialist to the Talent Alpha Human Cloud, just by selecting that option. The other exciting element that that joins this version is the option to tailor the platform, the look and feel of the platform, so it looks more like your own business. And this gives a really good experience, not just to you internally to use the platform, but also externally. Let me just show you quickly on this simple Acme setup. So it's not only the platform that is adjusting right now with the logo and the colors, but also importantly, I am able to expose the profiles of my specialists anonymously to external stakeholders, like for example, clients or other partners or whoever else that need to see the profile. So quickly, they're getting an experience of my branding on the profile that belongs to me. Now, last but not least, the same experience is being provided to the talent. So whenever I activated the white label option, I will receive the talent, my specialists, they will receive as well tailored and white labeled message.
Right. So just to sum it up, how this is useful, right? The sharing the experience, sharing the profile basically can replace sending anonymous CVs to your client, right? You can go as far as creating an entire talent pool or team using the syndicate function and letting your clients to browse through that and see really the depth and the experience of the team that you would be bringing for this particular opportunity. And more importantly, as Szymon showed, the white labeling option, again, we believe will help you to enhance your customer experience, help you position yourself differently in front of the clients where you're competing for business. And last but not least, the talent management module not only allows you to map out your existing employees, but you can also use it with the candidates you have with the pipeline. It's as simple as putting their names and the email and selecting the right role for which they are applying. So you can actually fetch all of that information about them very early in the process, hopefully saving you a ton of work when it comes to selecting the next team member that will be joining your organization.
Absolutely. And of course, there's a couple of things that are coming soon that are worth noting. Our platform is ever growing. This is just the first step. And some of the things that are going to show up soon, especially in the talent management. This is where we will add more dashboards and an ability to export the data as well, so you can manage your teams better. It's coming soon. Also, we're working on a better experience to onboard specialists. We call it instant onboarding. That should shorten the path to create meaningful reach profiles with use of machine learning. We're working on our proprietary CV parsing solution, especially meaningful for larger organizations to quickly import profiles to the talent management. And last but not least, we want to make sure that the psychometrics data are showing well in the talent management dashboards and profiles. So these are the key elements that you should be seeing in Talent Alpha platform. And I think we have it all, Przemek.
Thank you, Szymon.
Thank you.
So that concludes the formal part of the agenda, and it's time to take some of the questions. And you have been kind enough to share some of them in the QA box. Let me read them off and try to answer them. Some of them were answered already in the box itself. So the question was, do we take a percentage from the hourly rate? And the answer is, well, yes, we actually add it on top of your rate, but this only comes with the deals, kind of the big enterprise deals that we bring to the equation where we activate the network. We are considering introducing basically paid plans for different features that would be coming to the platform, but this is something that you can see kind of farther around this year. As for now, the use of the platform is for free. What we count for is basically feedback from you on what are some of the features you like and how we could improve the platform, what other features you would like to see as we keep building the experience. There was another one about the size of the opportunities that Stermedia won. So you can see the answer from Artur. I can only say that the size and the duration of the deal is fairly broad, from kind of, I would say, SWAT team type of opportunities where we need to parachute a handful of experts to really fix a problem in a couple of days, to some of the engagements lasting as long as 9 months with a statement of work not having an end date, and we have a few like that in the pipeline. It was a technical one on the recording. I believe that we are going to share that, so we can count on that. We also are looking forward to have these formats with you more often. And don't forget there is a little yellow intercom box on the platform that allows you to get in touch with us almost instantly, and hopefully a lot of your questions might be answered there as well. There was a question from Mark on whether there is a space to negotiate with the client, and the answer is yes, right? We know that it's never a perfect match and it's never a perfect price, right? So we designed this workflow in a way that we can actually meet the other side, and either it's us facilitating these negotiations if we are kind of spearheading that bigger opportunity. If you will be using the self-service match, as we call this booking feature, then it's in your hands to make sure that you land the deal. Yeah, so there are some features about building up the profiles. Can the employee adjust it? Absolutely. There's we still have that feature when the manager can make the adjustments, right? You can always re-edit your profile. We are working also a number of features to enhance the specialist experience within the platform itself, right? So we want to make it even more kind of employee-centric, to offload you as the management teams or the business development teams from some of these daunting tasks. But again, we hope that what you see here is going to contribute to building your business. When it comes to multi-user, Mariusz, this is the next thing on our roadmap that will be coming out of our shop. How do we apply for the platform access? It's as simple as going to app.talent-alpha.com and registering either with one of your G Suite or Office email accounts, or just putting your email. We kind of drop the heavy registration process that we used to have in the past in this version.
So basically that means the platform becomes open for anybody who wish to use it, right? So we will be also building much more visibility this year, so more clients can actually join us.
All right. Tim, have I covered all of the questions? I believe so. Sounds like we've covered all of the questions. Yes?
Multi-user.
Multi-user, I think I mentioned that this is the next thing in our backlog that would be coming out of our shop as soon as we know, it meets your expectations. So it's in the roadmap. You can also expect that now the features with this new version of our technology would be hitting the market way more frequently. So we'll not be working those large releases as we did in the past. Now, iteratively, as we build some of these features out, we'll be adding them and, of course, informing you and training you on that. So I think we are exactly on the hour. If you have any follow-on questions, myself and the team, we are here available for you. Happy to stay and chat with you individually. Also set up one-on-one calls if you'd like to learn more about our technology. At this point, I'd like to thank everyone for attending. I hope this was a fruitful time that you spent with us, but more importantly, thank the panelists, Sushobhan and Artur for their time and sharing their Talent Alpha stories.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
The last I can say is I hope 2021 would be maybe slightly less exciting year than 2020 for us, but way more fruitful and fulfilling on all of the life dimensions. And I hope you will stay safe and healthy, and hope to see you soon. Thank you very much, and see you at the Talent Alpha platform.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.